Hello Flosstube, my name's Natalia and this is my channel, Official Mermaids Cove, where I share my love of cross-stitch and other crafty things. Today's going to be a Flosstube Extra, so welcome back to any returning subscribers. And if you've stumbled across this channel and you enjoy cross-stitch, maybe some of the things I'll share you'll be interested in. You can subscribe to my channel and watch some other videos that I put out in the future. So today, I was going to participate in 24 hours of cross stitch. I don't know how far I'm doing, but I decided to go ahead and finish this small that I had. This is Festival Fruit Bat. It was a freebie chart given out by the Blue Flower for the Jingle Ball 2024. So I have finished it and I'm planning on fully finishing it into a pillar ornament. I've kind of already started the process before I realized I should probably record this, because I have gotten some questions on how to do this. This is kind of my method that I'm choosing to go for this project. I haven't always done this for other pillow finishes that I've made. I'm making this one specifically into an ornament, so this is a little bit different, but this is a very common technique. People use it to finish off with score news as well. But what I've done is I've backstitched the outline of the pattern, and I've also got a second piece of Ada that I've backstitched the same outline, and I charted some words to commemorate the pillow and the pattern and where I got it from. So I put the blue flower, a little motif there, a little Christmas tree, and then Jingle Ball 2024 and my initials. So I've kind of already started this off here, but I'm just trying to explain to you what the setup was. I trimmed my fabric, maybe I try to go with like half an inch, maybe this is a little shorter, but I have plenty of blocks. I'm not going to fray check it any other way. If you wanted to, you can maybe whip stitch the ends here or use fray check or some other method. I'm not going to bother to do that. I'm just going to finish it. I've chosen to finish it this way. The other thing I've also not done is sometimes people put interfacing. They iron on some interfacing on the back of their work after they finish embroidering, so that whatever you're going to use to stuff it doesn't poke through. I haven't done that either. I'm planning on just finishing it like this. Sometimes people don't use interfacing. Sometimes they use just like a piece of batting, and that way whatever you're using, like the batting sits against the your fabric and the embroidery, and then the whatever stuffing you're using won't go through the Ada holes. We're not going to do that this go around, so we'll see how that works. But if you want a more professional finish piece, that could be some additional steps that you are going to take. For my finishing, because once you have your two squares that you've backstitched the outlines on, you can whip stitch each stitch together to completely encapsulate the pillow. But I'm also doing the additional step of adding beads. So I have this on my tin here so you can kind of see it, because some of these beads are white and they would get lost in this blanket fabric. But I have some white seed beads, some green seed beads, and some red seed beads. Give it like a little Christmassy theme. And I am basically whip stitching these. Maybe there's a more technical term for that. And what I'm doing is I'm going through one of the two stitches together, and then the next time I go through, I add the bead. So it's like one stitch without a bead, one stitch with a bead, and I'm doing it that way. And so far you can see that that gives me a nice little spacing with the beads there, and they lay on the edging. I went ahead and, because this is going to be a Christmas ornament, I went ahead and stitched my little tassel in place. This is supposed to be the bats hanging off of a candy cane, so I made sure I had it oriented correctly, and I turned it down and stitched it down with one strand of DMC. And hopefully when it is finished right side up, it should hang like this. And so if you're going to do that, you can do that as well. I've seen people also use like a beaded hanger, so you can add that on at the end if you wanted to, and just put beads and make sure you're using, I wouldn't just use DMC floss for that. I would maybe use a beading thread or something a little bit more heavy duty. I am planning on stuffing this with orts this time. I've heard some people doing that. I haven't tried that out yet, so I have a whole tin full of all kinds of different colored orts. We're going to see how that works as far as making sure that it doesn't peek through any of the holes and everything like that. but we'll see how we go when we get there. I'm planning the route I'm taking. I think it's going to be go around this way until I have the bottom open and then start trying to stuff it before I close it off. Okay, so go this way. You can see I can line up my threads there. I think the last stitch I did was without a bead. Nope, that was with a bead. Okay, so this one has a bead. So we're going to do another stitch. And when I'm doing this, I'm going, you know, when you're doing whip stitching, you want to go in the same direction for each of your stitches. So I'm going in from the bottom, out from the top. And that one's without a bead. I'm following a color pattern here. So the first bead I used was red. So the next one I'm going to use is green, since I have my red bead here. And we're going to go through those 2 loops there. And this is pretty easy to do with Aida. It's not super difficult to do with even weave or linen, but the Aida makes it really easy to line it up as far as the squares go. So if you wanted to try it out for the first time, I definitely recommend that for a first time finish. But again, it's totally doable with linen or even weave as well. Okay, we go red now. Like I said, I'm just using 1 strand of DMC black floss, and I recently got these. I think I showed these in the previous video. These are Mill Hill beading needles number 10, size number 10, sharp shorts. I like the shorter beading needles. You can have more maneuverability, in my opinion. You might hear my puppy in the background. Let me make sure I'm getting this. This is a beading needle, so it's sharp, so it has a potential to pierce your thread when you're trying to loop under it. So just keep that in mind. Trying to make sure I go under that stitch of back stitching that I put on each of the blocks. if you see there, it's holding it at a pretty good place. See how the edging's coming on. I'm gonna pause it here and stitch around to the other edge, and then I'll be back to show you how I stuff it. Okay, so I'm back now. I stitched all the way around. We started over here, so I stitched around the corner, all the way around to here, and it's all lying pretty nicely. So I'm gonna start stuffing this with some orts. I got this tip from Lana, the Twisted Stitcher. I have I guess it's a chopstick. I have this because I use it more like a hair stick, but so I'm going to start stuffing this, and then after I stuff, I'm going to use the chopstick to, well, I might need to start using it. Okay, no, it's going in. I was about to say some of this. It's a little narrow pillow, so wondering that this isn't gonna need too much there. Just taking my chopstick and trying to make sure that it goes all the way down to the pillow. So what we're using to stuff, mix it all the way. I don't think I'm going to stuff this too full, but just make sure it's... Okay, so I would say for something this thin, maybe start with less stuffing at the beginning and tamp down to get to the corners there. I think this could be okay, especially for what it is. Okay, I'll set those aside for a second. Put some more. Okay, I think we're getting there. We're like halfway there now. Probably going to pause a little bit when I get closer to the end so I still have enough margin to close this. I see we're like right there. The body. So far so good. I don't see anything poking through the Ada, so that's good. Maybe this is a little ambitious, but we'll see how much of this fits. But it's good to take your time, go slow. Nope, see, there's still plenty of room. I keep underestimating it because it looks like a little small skinny pillow, but there's quite a good bit of, if you want to get a nice squishy pillow, it's a good bit you can pack it there. Okay, might be pushing my luck, but we're gonna see. Actually, this, yeah, let's do this. Oh, I'm not sure what that is. Okay. Okay, I think we're just about to the point where I want to stop stuffing this for now. I spoke too soon. Also keep in mind I have a good margin on this, on the Ada squares that I cut out. So that's also going to add some padding there at the end. So I'm just checking now to see. Maybe we can add a little bit more. Yeah, I think we're good there. Okay. So now I'm going to try to get that tucked in so I can line up. So the last stitches that I'll need to do. Actually, I might want to end off my thread at this point. Another thing that might help, I think I was using this when I was closing it, you're going to use some of these sewing clips to hold the corners in place so your line, when you line up the Ada blocks to do your stitches, doesn't get skewed. I don't think I'm going to need that for this last part here. Go ahead and secure my thread. Again, I'm using just a single strand of DMC cotton floss. So the last stitch we did was with a bead, so I'm going to do one without. Next bead will be white. Pick up one of those. Again, going from bottom to top. If you didn't want to do beads, you don't have to add beads. I just like the added detail that it gives. I think is it the Red Stitchery that has like a series called Ornamentations? I've watched her videos too. She actually does some interesting bead edges that aren't like this. So if you want more ideas on how to use beads to sparkle up your ornaments, I would definitely recommend their channel. They have a lot of cute ideas with different types of beads too, not just seed beads. So if you have other beads in your crafty stash, shows you different ways on how to maybe use some of those. Just trying to be real careful about this because, again, I'm using a beading needle and I don't want to end up piercing the thread instead of actually looping it. And make sure you pull your thread over to the opposite side so it doesn't get caught on the beads. You can tighten it every few stitches to close in that seam. Just try not to be too tight. Remember, if you're working with one strand of DMC, it is pretty strong, but it's not, you don't be too, put too much pressure or tension on it. Especially, some DMC threads, if I know I thrift a lot of my DMC floss, sometimes, it will have aged over time, or it might not be as, strong, depending on how it was stored. So you don't want to put too much of strain on it. But it's definitely strong enough to pull on it and tighten up your stitches and close that seam. Bring those two pieces of fabric together. In my last video I showed some Christmas ornaments that were very lovingly made and given to me as presents. and someone mentioned that they're still not out of their Christmas season, so they'd love to see more Christmas ornaments, so I think this qualifies. And this will be my first official FFO for 2025. So I'll be happy to get that accomplished the first month of the year. Okay. We're getting close to closing this off here. Make sure I line up my stitches. What happened here? This doesn't look quite right. I'll let you know, right now, I like using the shorter bead needles, but the eye is also smaller as well. So if you have a hard time threading a needle, you might want to get needle threader that can handle really small eyes. As far as the eye of the needle goes. Okay. I think this is going to be my last bead. Yep, and I think that's it. So I'm just going to do a few extra stitches. Before I tie this off and see how we did. Okay. Start making some knots here. Put my needle to the back, and I'll trim that right there. Okay, and we're all done. We have our first FFO of 2025, our little festive fruit bat hanging from a candy cane. It's got cute little beaded Christmas color themed beads and a pretty gold ribbon. I think that turned out pretty nice. It's nice squishy. So hopefully that was helpful and gives you some new ideas on how to do some smalls finishing. Again, thank you to all the Flosstubers out there that I've learned from over the years, from watching them. Lana the Twisted Stitcher, Red Stitchery, Jean Farish has a lot of good tips. I was trying to think back because I think I did see a video where somebody was finishing up a score. I think that's where I first got this finishing idea, but honestly I cannot recall that far back. It might have been Vana. It's possible. But yeah, I think this is a pretty basic, you know, you can hand sew this, you don't need a sewing machine for it. It's a little bit in my opinion, it's a little bit easier than just doing like a, you know, basic pillow, because you're at least doing it, you know, both sides are Ada, both sides an even weave. You can do the back stitching on that fairly easily, instead of using like a cross stitch fabric and then like a quilting cotton or a sewing fabric where you have to maybe machine sew it to like get a straight lines and everything. So I think this is a very good option for you know, first time or beginners or people, you know, trying to branch out. So yeah, leave me your thoughts below. How do you think I did? Did you like this finish? Are you going to try it out? If you have an Instagram and you end up trying it out, by all means tag me. I'd love to see what ornaments you end up making. And if you like this video, please feel free to like and subscribe, and you can see future videos that I put up. Until next time, happy stitching. Bye.